Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. This one is going to be a VIPKid tip. So on your VIPKid desktop app that you have downloaded to your computer, there is a new feature called the practice room. I guess it's not too new, but it's like only a couple months old. Anyways, we're going to talk about what all you can do with it and why you should be practicing with it, especially if you are a new teacher. But first, don't forget to like and subscribe to this video. Find me on Facebook at Ashley's Got Class. Join me and subscribe to my channel here on Ashley's Got Class for more YouTube videos and tips and tricks on all things online teaching. All right, now back to our little blurb here about VIPKid and the classroom tool that we want to look at. So when you sign on to VIPKid, you're going to go to your home screen. Then you're going to go to this class tab, down to classrooms, head over to classrooms. In this upper corner here, we see practice room. We want to click practice room, and it's going to take us to the VIPKid practice room. All right, we're going to go ahead and make this a little bit bigger here so we can see more. Okay, so here we can see that I have 30 minutes allowed inside this practice room. And so it welcomes me to the practice room. It reminds me this is not a real classroom. Nobody's going to sign on in here. This is not being recorded. And you can just practice and play around with all the tools to get a little bit more comfortable before you sign into your first class. So here we can practice with an input box. An input box is where we can type in directly onto the screen if we want, and the students can see that. Hit submit. Boom. There it is. Now the student can see it when you hit submit. Okay. So there's that. And then the way that we get rid of it is we are going to click this A here, and then the X will pop up in the corner. Click the X. Are you sure you want to delete this? Yours won't be saved. Yes, I want to delete it. It's okay. So that's how you get rid of that in the classroom. I know when the text box feature first came into the classroom, I had no idea how to get rid of it. It was just on my screen. It took me a while. So learn from my mistakes. Click the little A. This X will pop up in the corner, and you can get rid of that nice and easy. Second is our pen, and I hope you're really used to having your pen now at this point. Here's my little red squiggles, and I can underline. Underlining on these slides takes some talent, but it also really helps with your students when knowing what to read and where they're at. And another feature with the underlining for your more advanced, really any student, but as they're reading, and you don't want to interrupt them as they're reading. You don't want to stop them mid-sentence to correct them. Most of the time, what you're going to want to do is just underline a word. So say they stumbled on audio a little bit. Okay, they're still reading. Oh, they stumbled on device a little bit, and they stumbled on features. After they've read the full paragraph, I'm going to say, great job reading that. Let's go review a couple of words. Audio, audio, and I'm going to have them repeat after me and correct those pronunciation issues. So that is another teaching tip as you're going through the lesson, to not interrupt, underline, and then review with the student as afterwards. Here we have our magnifying glass. This one can be a fun tool, especially if you're telling a student, find a certain letter, find a certain word, and then you hit the magnifying glass, and it kind of blacks everything else out. You can make it bigger or smaller, and they have to find it. So if you're looking for some way to gamify even more, maybe you need to extend your lesson a little more, this is an easy tool that you can pull out and use in your class. Here we have, you can turn off and on the student's mouse and keyboard. Oh, this is amazing sometimes when you have those students who are just scribblers and they want to scribble over the entire page so that you can't see anything. And it is their goal to cover every single square inch of that page so that you cannot see. And their goal is you can't teach if you can't see. And you can only clear the whole page so many times. So this is a handy dandy little button. We click that right there. Turns off the student's mouse and keyboard so that they cannot scribble. And you will notice your younger ones looking frantic and panicked that they can't color and that it's not showing up. And sometimes they will like log out and log back in. I've had that happen a few times. I've had them like call for help. I can't scribble. And usually I just kind of sit there and smile, to be perfectly honest. I know what's going on. I want them to settle down so that we can move on with class. It's not, usually a problem. I've never had any issues with that. Usually I've had a fireman come in before and kind of explain a little bit about why a teacher might turn that off temporarily, and then a parent is usually sitting there with the younger ones, and they get it. They understand. Color picker. This one is fun. I love to switch my colors around, especially on some of the slides. You might have extra red images, and so you want to use a different color so that color stands out. You might even be playing a game. You can do some drawing. There's many different reasons that you can use the different colors. Highlight different things. Maybe you're looking for subjects and verbs or adverbs, and you can do each part of the sentence structure in a different color. Many different ways that you can use this, but the caveat is that you are the only one as the teacher that can change the color of your pen. Your student's pen is always going to be blue. As the teacher, you have the option between red, yellow, green, white, and black, but your student will always have blue. Here's our eraser tool. So maybe I don't want to erase all the scribbles, but I do want to erase the yellow ones, which here is a really good example of one of the downfalls to the eraser tool. Whatever you want to erase is going to turn green, except the green. The green is already green. So if I want to erase the green, there's not really a way to see what I'm selecting, whereas everything else you can kind of see which one specifically you want to erase. It will turn green. You click, it erases it. That one specific. Restore page option, again, clears it, wipes it, whole new slate. The eraser tool, you will need to click the eraser tool to get your pen back. So as long as you have the eraser tool selected, you're going to have an eraser. Okay, so you can either select, no, you can't even select the pen. You can select the eraser tool again, deselect the eraser tool to regain your pen control and your pen function. At the end here, we have a countdown. This one is really fun to use when there's like a list or reading. And so a lot of these like the conjugation charts. So it's like I am, you are, we, he, she, it is, and so whenever we're looking at these kind of things, it kind of gets repetitive. It kind of gets boring. What's a way that we can gamify it? What's a way that we can make it fun? Add a timer. All right, can you read this whole chart in 15 seconds? Go! They can see this little timer as it counts down over here. So then they can read the chart and then they're trying to get it. And then you can even count down for them. 5, 4, it's shaking. So it's really like, 3, 2, 1. And then it just kind of disappears. It's a little anticlimactic in my opinion, but still it works and the kids do have fun with it. Your student is going to be here. You are going to be here. Now over here, I can turn my video on and off with this button. Okay, so on and off, my microphone on and off. Very similar to like Zoom meetings or any online conferencing tool that you're using. Make sure that your camera and your microphone are on while you are ready to teach. Say your student is not in the classroom yet, you can have your camera off, okay? You do not have to have your face on camera while you're waiting for a student if it is like a no-show students type situation. That is okay. You are here. You might even want to take a couple screenshots just in case backup. I usually do that and I have like a folder screenshots and then periodically I go through and just delete them all if I haven't needed them. Very rarely have I needed them, and if you have any questions about why I need them, feel free to message me. Maybe I'll make a video in the future. Hasn't been too many instances, but there has been a few. All right, so now troubleshooting in the classroom. Here's our little settings tool. Click that. Say a student can't hear you. This might have just gone AWOL and selected a random microphone that was not the microphone that you intend to use. So mine, I want my headset microphone, the zone microphone. It's wired. It's connected straight to my computer. It works the best. It's also noise canceling. I want that one. So I want to make sure that one's selected. If I select another one like Magnifying Virtual or the one that comes with my computer, the internal one, they're not going to sound as good or as crisp. Okay, so I want to make sure my right microphone is selected. Camera, if you are using Manicam, this is how you change that. So in the camera, it's automatically going to be the integrated webcam that comes with your laptop. So if you have an external webcam or if you have Manicam, you're going to want to go to the settings, going to want to go to camera, select the drop-down menu, and pick the camera feed that you want to display in the classroom. Speaker, this is just to make sure that you can hear, so you can test to make sure that your headphones are working well. So I can hear this little flute playing. It's pretty loud. And the firemen, if you can't hear the student, you will be hearing that in the middle of class. So the nice little flute, I can test my equipment and make sure that my equipment works. I can make sure that my camera's set up properly, my microphones are working, my headphones are working. I can test all of this before I ever enter the classroom with a student. Okay, so make sure that you're using that practice room to get comfortable with all the tools and everything that you have available to use inside the VIPKid classroom. So that way, that is one less step that you have to be nervous about before you ever start teaching your first class or your 10th class or your 100th class, wherever you're at. I hope that helps, and I'll see you for the next video. Bye, everyone.